There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, Alegria Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal, a live show stream and podcast. Yes, hola, bon dia, Alegria. How are you this morning? Tudo bem? It's going to be a good one this morning. I'm a little bit late. I'm sure some of you have noticed that already. I was behind the scenes singing the blues with Terence Austin, discovering that not only can he paint, pretty good in a fist fight as well, and he's playing a guitar. He's warming up by playing the guitar. There in central Portugal this morning. Whoa! There he is, Screaming J. Terence, up there in central Portugal. And Screaming J. Austin. It's going to be such fun. Joining us at 9 this morning. I've been trying to write a ticker tape for it, and all sorts of things have been happening to distract me, not least yourselves now with your lovely comments and observations about life in the chat and in the comments this morning. We have had live commentary in already. Thank you so much for this Joao F, which I'm endeavoring to bring to the screen to you now. Lovely, lovely video from John and Pam. I think we have lost them to the north. The beautiful video, the report from the north, he called it, the video that he sent me. Before I play you that, I will upload that as well because that's really good, and that'll give me a chance to write the banner. That I think I tried to write it 3 times this morning, and it disappears. If I didn't save it and it disappeared, so I've got to do that. I've got to have the ticker tape beneath me saying at 9 o'clock, seasoned expat. I hope he doesn't mind me calling him that. Seasoned expat, not to be confused with a seasoned cowpat. Seasoned expat, Terence Austin, and gifted artist, of course, Renaissance man, who's going to be painting live for you this morning on the show, live painting. And it is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. He's just gently flicking me away in the green room. Get away with you, get away with you. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it. But no, he is all of those things and more. And of course, if those weren't enough accolades, he is the brother of the great Garvo, which you can mix in there as another great quality to have in life. I see Garvo as a brother as well, of course. Everybody wants Garvo as their brother. So we might see a little bit of the great Garvo too. So live for another production, live from the amazing Austin Brothers studios in Alvigra this morning. The Austin Brothers, but featuring under the spotlight, the hardest working man in show business, Terence Austin. At around 9 o'clock this morning. So let me go to Joao F's life advice and some lovely Portuguese sayings. Thank you. Back on form, T-Duck this morning. I'm going to give you the highlights of what's to come for the rest of the week, including misconceptions and misinformation around the Portuguese health system. Oh, my goodness. And I might have a little bit of a rant about Portuguese banking. Do you know what a Portuguese bank person said to me yesterday in Millennium BCP? Oh, visas. Who cares about visas? That's not our problem. One of many reasons why the big old bank dinosaurs might not make it into the next century with attitudes like that. I've had such a runaround trying to get my bank card sorted out. 2 failed bank cards. That's why I can't buy lunch for the last month, everybody. It's quite not a bad excuse, is it? I suppose I could have done it by MBWay or crypto possibly. But yes, what a palaver I have had. Just trying to get 2 bank cards started. It's been quite an adventure. I don't even know if there's time to fit that in this morning. Anyway, is this how the banks work as well? From what is this? El Arroyo. I thought that was El Arroyo, a place in Austin called Arroyo, but no, Arroyo, I suspect. I learned from the mistakes of people who took my advice. Well, I guess that'll be a lot of people's kids, wouldn't it? And yesterday, of course, in Caldas Terania, trying to sort out this is another question for you. Here's a great philosopher. I wonder if Terence Austin would see himself in the same sort of realm as Zé Povinho, who is pictured with me there. We both sat together for a little while in Caldas in that. In the sense, well, I was talking to Phil yesterday about this. We were trying to understand the layout of Caldas. It's quite an unusual place as far as Portuguese towns, cities go. And he said, yes, there is one of the centres. And it's like, well, how can you have a number of centres? And we both realised the how accurate that was, really, and how, of course, it was an oxymoron. You can't have a number of centres, can you? Although there is there's the market centre, the financial centre, the artistic centre. So it is quite hard to penetrate and understand Caldas de Rainha. But here in this part of it, in this lovely quarter along the lanes, the pedestrianised lane here I am sat with Zé Povinho. We've both got our tit-fers on, and we are just had a little chat and check-in with Zé Povinho, a very, very useful character, cultural reference point, worth finding out about Zé Povinho. Why do you think, those of you who know him, why do you think is he especially important at this time? Also, I wanted to bring you the video of this in hurly-burly this morning. What do you think that is? So I'm going to leave that hanging there. I mean, literally, it is kind of hanging there. And who doesn't like to have something hanging there first thing in the morning? But there you go, with a bit of kit nonchalantly lent against an apartment block in Caldas de Rainha yesterday. I actually stopped the car, got Mrs. M to take this photograph. Then I went back and took video of it. But what was I taking video of? What is that thing lent nonchalantly against an apartment block in Caldas de Rainha yesterday? Thank you, Joao F, then, for your intervention, your early intervention this morning, and comments on live. Hold on a minute. I'm trying to get my phone, in case anybody wants to call in. That's why the Bluetooth won't connect up, because it's not switched on. That'll help, Carl, if you do that. Roadcaster Pro. Okay, we're in. Round of applause. Yes, well done, well done. Yes, thank you. Well, we'll play that when Terence comes in, because there's no one who likes a warm hand on their opening any more than Terence Austin. So we'll make sure that happens at 9 o'clock as well. And let's see, that I've kept you waiting long enough. We're 10 minutes in already. How does that happen? Oh, God Squad tip of the day. We'll come back to that as well. Thank you, Ian, for keeping those coming. Coach Turner, who is traveling across France. You sent me a lovely picture of the Vendée. Vendée-ish area. Mrs. M spent quite a lot of time in the Vendée. I didn't recognize that particular beautiful place. She missed out, because it looked like you're in the tropics with that beautiful picture that you sent yesterday. It's not too bad, not as good as Portugal, as I think we acknowledged in a roundabout way. But wowzers, what a beautiful place. Some incredible scenery and seaside you've been seeing there. We'll be traveling this morning when the show is on across France to Bourges. So catch you on the other side. Okay, but thank you for your tip of the day there, Coach Turner. And Eagles in as well. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers. It's dry, grey in Belfast. More rain until Sunday, around first week July, 5th to 8th. Big European heat to come, up to low 20s. The big European heat, around 20 degrees in Belfast there. Morning, Eagle. Your sunshine, your one-man sunshine yourself there. Bon dia, Gumpers. People should gather around you in Belfast and feel your warmth. Form an orderly queue. Bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz carta a todos. Como vai as coisas? How's things? Coisas, one of my favorite words. Here in Portugal, in Portuguese, the slug has returned to say that to us. Bon dia, Gumpers. Feliz carta. Happy Wednesday to all. A todos. Como vai as coisas? How are things going? And it is Mark Twain quote of the day. I apologize for such a long letter. I'm going to do it in my generic old American voice. Do you know what? I think Terence is already tickling the turpentine behind the scenes. I don't know if that's a standard phrase in the industry. He's flexing his brushes for sure. His badger is getting a good workout this morning. I apologize. Oh, a little kid, Mrs. M just came into the studio to blow me a kiss. Good morning to you. Good morning. Good morning. No, I have tea and coffee. Thank you very much. But a bacon butty would be great. She didn't ask in about any of that. Is there anything I can do for you? Just a little show here? No. Okay, that's good. I apologize. I will do my old American accent now. I apologize for such a long letter. I didn't have time to write a short one. Very good. Mark Twain quote of the day. No one knows if that's accurate or not. It probably isn't. Tony, thank you for your message. Lovely to hear from you. via the messaging service of expatsportugal.com, the infrastructure behind the ever popular and incredibly powerful, informative forum that we have there at Expats Portugal community expatsportugal.com/community for the forum. There's so much information, all free, basic membership, free of course, and access to that forum. Trade up for extra perks and discounts and benefits, but so much for so little, and nothing, in fact, over there on the Expats Portugal forum. An incredible repository, repository of information over there. Hola, Gompers, from Tony then, Baldylocks, and shout out to James as well. T-Duck is in with the Bon Dia Alegria, Gompers, and we're leaving early. Yes, and hope to see some of you at the meetup today. But T-Duck, top producer T-Duck, will of course be setting up. This is an amazing enterprise we have here, isn't it, in our community here? We have a live broadcast with multiple cameras coming from Al Vazra this morning. We'll have a live outside broadcast again this week from the meetup on the Silver Coast, of course, specifically in San Martino de Porto. What incredible technology we have available to us, and the things we can do, whether people want to see it or not. We're bringing it to you, folks. We're leaving early then, T-Duck says, and hope to see some of you at the meetup today. Yes, meetup San Martino de Porto between 1 and 3. I think the weather's going to brighten up. Why is it? It seems to. Are we doing some kind of mojo here where people are hoping for good weather on the meetup day? Because it seems a lot of Wednesdays seem to start like this, with a slightly wet and damp and grey start to the day. But it did brighten up beautifully last week, and I suspect it will again this week as well. So see you there. Portuguese sayings, they are getting harder and harder to find. I don't think that's a Portuguese saying. That isn't a comment about Portuguese saying. So, é melhor ter amigos no mercado. They're getting more complicated and difficult to say as well, T-Duck. É melhor ter amigos no mercado do que dinheiro nos cofres. Better to have friends in the marketplace than money in your coffers. Yes, better to have both, though, isn't it? But yeah, if you had to choose, what would you choose? A load of money in your coffers or some good pals? It's a shame do we have to choose at times? I don't know. Sometimes I guess we do. And de repente, this is a good start, isn't it? De repente, tudo se torna real, nem posso acreditar. Suddenly, everything became real. I can't believe it. Wow, the scales falling from the eyes in Portuguese there. Wouldn't it be lovely to be able to say that at least once a day? Everything is becoming real. I can't believe it. The price of butter has shot through the roof. Maus frias, coração. He's strumming. He's strumming behind the scenes again. What a guy. And maus frias, coração quente. Cold hands, warm hearts. That's a global. It's not all fur coat and no knickers. It is cold hands and warm heart there. I've got a little bit of talking of fur coats and no knickers. I've got a bit of a tickly throat. Hold on. Oh, that's better. There was nothing I could do to escape that, but shielding you from the coughing with the cough button on this professional equipment that we have here. Yay, T-Duck. Jim White, who's going to be our guest tomorrow. 2 very interesting guests tomorrow. Jim White, one of them. We'll have a good half hour with Jim talking about his experience moving to Porto. So, Jim, I'll send you that link, and I'm looking forward to talking to you tomorrow. And our other guest on Move to Portugal Thursday is a technology expert, the tech that you will need when moving from America, North America specifically. But a lot of it, I suspect, will be transferable as well. But it seems to be that the Americans ask that question most. What do we need to do technologically when we're moving? Telephones, especially. What is this? What is this I have here in my throat? As the actress said, no. Bon dia todos from Jim White. Yes, a Jim White, our guest tomorrow. Oh, it's funny, isn't it? When the host starts coughing and struggling, people edge to their forward on their seat. He's just blathering on, and then it looks like he might be a bit of a situation now. His face is turning very red, and he's coughing uncontrollably. This is good telly, but it's over now. I think we're okay. Jim White, looking forward to your spot tomorrow. Yeah, so technology. And Jim in Porto, enjoying Porto, moved from the United States. Oh, probably last summer, wasn't it? Or late last summer, Jim, when we met. And lovely to meet you both then. And our loss to have you move from the Silver Coast up to Porto. So we'll find out why tomorrow. And technology, the technology the technology tips and hacks that you can enjoy and that will make your life easier with my other guest tomorrow morning, Thursday. Bon dia alegria from Barry as well. There's a 4 there. What's the 4 for? What's the 4 there, Barry? I wonder, is that a typo or is there some significance to that? Are people sending each other hidden messages across the chat like they do in the Times classifieds, I wonder? Is that 4 a sign, a signal to somebody? And bon dia, Carl and Terrence from Moaz. Where have you been? I don't mean to say that in an accusatory way. Accusatory in American, accusatory way in British. I wonder, are you okay, Moaz? Anything else with just screen and no normal backdrop? I certainly hope not. What's happened there? Oh, that was early on, wasn't it? Before I even came onto the screen, I think. Bon dia, Baddy, as well from James. And Cindy B's here. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers. The slug has returned. I am getting the strange screen too. Oh, anyone? Okay, I think some people are not getting a strange screen. They are getting the turtleneck. So all is well. Say what you like, but I rather like the turtleneck. Well, I'm in the company of bohemians this morning. I thought it only right to wear a turtleneck sweater and maybe even start smoking this morning. Let's see. And start drinking again in about a week's time. That will happen next Thursday. I think we're going to have a beer together, aren't we, on the show when I return from my year without beer. Could be a book, couldn't it? The Year Without Beer. It's not been actually that. A year with beer is more exciting than a year without beer, I have to say. Oh, the celestial sounds coming in. What was that? Mr. Bang. Obviously, the comments are working, so I guess we'll see in a minute if everything else is working. There we go. Okay, so it did happen. Okay, good. And Stephen Wells, bon dia. I really struggle when the show has been going out in a way I hadn't planned. And I've not even noticed. It's not until I scroll down the comments that I find out. Maybe I should go to the comments earlier to discover these things. Bon dia, Pam. Tell us more about the special day that's happening on Friday. It's the day of jokes. We need to be involved in that, do we not? What can we do to honor the Portuguese Day of Jokes on Friday? Hola todos de New Jersey. Boa madrugada from, oh yes, a happy dawn to us all from Jean this morning. And yes, notice late. Have you a note? Notice late. Have you a note? What? Hola, bon dia, kids from a sunny and sunny. Hola, bon dia, kids from a cool and sunny Portugal. What's going on this morning? Come on, just gonna give myself a slight tap on the bonds there to get things. Maybe I need to turn myself off and on again this morning. No, maybe not. The Sluggers return. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it too. Yeah, Jim White tomorrow. Tony, cash is still king in good old Portugal. Yeah, bank cards, honestly. And part of my journey yesterday was to have my cash card swallowed up. It's not swollen up. That was a different part of yesterday. I had my cash card swallowed up by the Millennium machine. The in-house Millennium machine that could do all sorts of things. Looks like it can make coffee. Not tried that particular function of the multi-banco system just yet. But this great big machine swallowed up my card and gave me a receipt saying, capturo cartão, something along those lines. Three wrong attempts at getting the code right. Oh, flipping heck. So I had to go back up the road to Urabic and say, my card has been swallowed up. Can you help me? He said, yeah, I'll give you a note. It's like a parent giving you a note for school. He gave me a note, which obviously had to be rubber stamped and signed as well, to take back to Millennium, and they would give me my card out the back of the machine. It sounds like they're quite actually sort of rudimentary at the back. Their card just drops out on the floor in the back office, I think. And right enough, the lady did. I saw this note, needed to see my passport to see that I was who I said I was, understandably, and because that note could have been found in the street, couldn't it? Which is why they should perhaps do things electronically. But anyway, the note I was handed over, she said, wait a moment. Oh, no, first of all, she went, like, I can't get in the back of the cash machine for 2 days. You'll have to come back next year to get your card or something like that. That's what I've become used to with the big traditional banks of Portugal. But right enough, she got the key off the other guy and went into the back room of the cash machine and gave me my card, but said it won't work until Friday. And then I had a problem with my Millennium card as well. And she wanted to charge me €10 for a new pin. Do you know, I thought to myself, I've had enough aggro with this. I'm going to treat myself to a new pin. But then we discovered when we walked to the cash machine, and I felt like a child being helped at the cash machine. It happens sometimes. Sometimes you've got to be a child in this culture, haven't you? That is the level at which I operate in a lot of things here, actually. And some would argue in other areas of my life anyway. I like to call it a youthful outlook. Some call it immature. But anyway, the card wasn't working. The chip had broken. So she's sending me a new card. And she gave me, where did I put that? Now I think about it. And where did I put my concertina file of all my stuff, Portuguese stuff? Did I leave it on the roof of the car and then drive away? Is it still on the floor of the car park of the Levis shopping centre? If you see a concertina file with British guys' stuff in it, please don't burn it. Hand it in. I think I've got it in a bag for life, which got left outside the house last night. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, where was I? Yes, I've got my PIN number and the cash card will follow. So maybe I will have a cash card. I think I've been without the use of them for a month now, what with one thing and another. And just so you know, the reason for that, I think, is user error in the first place. I have found myself in some really unnecessary and awkward and boring situations since. But if you don't activate your cash card correctly in this country, you can cause yourself all kinds of aggravation, which I have done. I thought activating a card was just simply putting it in the machine and using the PIN number that got sent. I think there's some other part to the activation process, which I may need the help of a Portuguese person with. In Belfast, Carl's jumper is a polo neck. Yes, turtle neck, turtle head. It just doesn't seem right, does it, anymore? My card was also, thank you for that, by the way, Deagle. I'm clicking there on Baddy's comment has scrolled me all the way through to a load of comments, and now I've missed out on a load. But anyway, my card was also swallowed exactly the same from Eurobic, and I still have not received a replacement. Just be a little bit more boring about cash cards then. With Urabic, towards the end of May, I thought I was all over it, and I went into the branch in Alcobaça, and the staff have been. I have to say the staff have been friendly, but it hasn't worked out. It hasn't been business-like in the sense that it's worked in any way that has been recognizable as great service. So I went in, I said, will my card be sent in French? I think I spoke to the guy in French in Alcobaça. And I said, will it be sent to my address? And have you got the right address? Yes, no problem. It did, of course, it didn't turn up. It went to an old address, as it turns out. Managed to get it from the old address. And then when I put it into the machine, I thought I was activating it, put in the PIN number that was sent, and still I have a catalogue of problems, most of which you've heard this morning. There have been other parts to it, but I'm not going to go into it anymore because it can be a little tedious, but maybe I'll make a little side show about that, actually, it has to be a series using the Portuguese multi-banco system. It is quite incredible when it's working well. João F, as I am feeling a little lazy this morning, I decided to start earlier in order to have more time to do nothing. Yes, very good. Very good. Is that a skill you teach, João F? Because I think a lot of other people would like to learn that. Look like a crane fitting windows up high. That is a very good guess, I have to say, but it's not the right answer. I haven't got a jingle for that. I do, but I can't find it right now. This is as good as you're going to get for that answer. I'm sorry, Deagle. It is not a crane fitting windows up high, but it's a very good guess. We will come back to more guesses, I hope. And a lot of man cave style shouting in capital letters, also for the gumpers, the hard of hearing and sight. I love having more time to do nothing. Yes, it's a kind of achievement in its own way, isn't it? I haven't seen you in ages. How have you been doing? Oh, that's from Joao. Yeah, we're worried about you, Moaz. What's going on here? Lots of comments, very vociferous this morning. Bon dia alegria todas from Jeff Jackson. Mrs. Yes, that's good, isn't it? That's what I should call her. Mrs. Very good. 13 look, Deagle's counting. Watch it. Non-likes watching live, 13 of them this morning. So hit that like button. I've got a little video to play for you now because I must do that ticker tape. You've got to see this video. Come back to those comments and the God Squad tip of the day and live painting demo. Morning. Just a quick name check then, just so everybody knows they're being loved and acknowledged this morning. Porky Feet, Andy is in. Deborah Davies. What? Deborah Davies with Yorkshire tea? Bring some over here. Matty's in as well. Who else is here? Pam, we said hello to me. Connie and Hank are in this morning. Gary Orgles saying cash is king as well. Who else is here? Any new names? There is some rubbing of canvas going on as well now. My goodness, can't wait. And Rebel Mama I think is in for the live painting as well. BPI, you have to activate your card Why? I mean, why does it matter how you activate your card? Because that's not a security thing, is it? Because if people have got your I guess a third bit of kit is needed, which might prove that it's you. If the bandits haven't taken everything of yours. 3 peas in a pod also in. Let me show you that video now. Come back to your lovely comments in a little while. And we will come up to Alvazra in Portugal in a little while, live for the painting demo with legendary artist and seasoned expat Terence Austin. And I don't know, we might be able to encourage him to play us a little bit of wow this morning. We shall see. Let's ask him nicely, but let's go for a peaceful moment. A Ponte Lima, courtesy of John and Pam. Oh, that was a really beautiful moment, wasn't it? That is superb. Thank you so much for that, John. Which came with the little message: report from the north, 8 p.m. and all is well. And I think I could hear the brothers inside the church, oh, with some Gregorian chanting or similar coming from the hallowed and holy halls of the church. Is that what I could hear there, John and Pam? That's superb. So there you go. In the ticker tape now, it is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday, featuring top artist and seasoned expat Terence Austin. And we're coming up to 9 o'clock where he will join us on the screen. So just time for a couple more comments, then maybe we'll multi-banker webinar. Yeah, let's have a look at a few of these banking related comments here and what Rebel Mama had to say. She forgot to say, bon dia Pasol, our frig died last night, off to get a new one. I think that's probably meant to say fridge rather than frig. I hope so. Okay, that picture is from a moving company to move stuff up or down for houses without elevators. Yes, Matty has got the correct answer. Yes. Very good. Very, very good there. Oh, yes. Yes. So there you go. That picture there of the, what is it called? I suppose it's kind of a vertical conveyor belt, isn't it? And I was quite taken by it, I have to say. For those of you who might need to move stuff up and down, who doesn't like to move stuff up and down first thing in the morning? But if you haven't got an elevator and just a very slim passage where you're moving stuff up and down the stairs, stop giggling over in Alvagra. If you've only got a small passageway, whereby you'll be moving things from the ground to the 4th floor in this instance, as you can see from the picture, that could be a real boon, and presumably it's affordable. I would have thought hiring in a crane like that, elevator crane like that, would cost a lot. But when I make the video of it, I have a video. I've got about 6 minutes of video, which seemed a little bit too long to share with you this morning. But when I cut that video down, you'll see it in action. It is quite extraordinary. It's like every home should have one. Thank you, Matty. Well done then. So a debit card should be given on the spot, and credit card, it takes a few days. Sometimes I feel the Persian Gulf couriers seem to be more advanced than the West, I'm sure. And the Persian Gulf Couriers sounds like a football team, does it not? Or will they be in the Qatarian World Cup, the Persian Gulf Couriers? At BPI, you have to activate your card on your phone or computer app for security. Much better than the US system, as with most things. Not when you're me, it's not. It's a blimmin' pain in the bottom. You need to use your PIN number and then make a purchase with PIN and contactless to fully activate a new bank card in Belfast, which makes you spend some money as well, which is good for the economy, isn't it? Why? Yeah, I think you have to activate your card. I think to activate your card, you have to ask for a balance. Oh, well, great. How does that prove it's me, for heaven's sakes? That's ridiculous. I am mad about that. My colleague once lost his bank card in the machine when we were working in Germany. I had to sub him beer money. A likely story. Oh, sleight of hand. Card goes up the sleeve, then everyone else buys you beer. for the rest of the trip. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, that happens in the US if you lose your card in an ATM at a bank. I love BPI, such a good bank. Okay, well, there's a great recommendation. That might be an alternative if Millennium are being so silly. Quotes, who cares about visas? That's not our problem. Yeah, Millennium BCP, have a word with your staff. Such a good bank as BPI. So it's good to hear about a good one. I forgot my PIN and the gesture got it out of the machine, the gesture of the machine for me right away. I had to wait 48 hours, I think. Yeah, I've got to wait until Friday before I can. I'm not sure if it's after Friday or on Friday. We'll wait till Saturday, maybe on the way to the market. And quite right, Gary, cash is king in Portugal. But they want to take those folks who would want you to have nothing and be happy about it also want to take away your cash, I understand. But let's not go to the dark side right now. Let us go to the bright side, the light side of life. Let's go live now to Alviagra, correctly known as Alviagra in central Portugal, and the legend, the living legend, who is Terence Austin.
Who is he?
Greetings. Good morning to you. How are you?
Greetings, dear boy. Greetings.
Well, that's quite an elaborate set you have then. I'm sure that's not the first time you've heard that said to you. What is going on this morning? What can we look forward to?
Right, what we're going to do is, I think, basically try and get people, excuse the French, off their arses a little bit and do a bit of creativity, because we live in a wonderful land which has 300 days plus of sun.
Yes.
And it's time, I think, that people realized it, and what I'm trying to do is encourage them to get out, take photographs, perhaps do a bit of painting, drawing, enjoy nature, learn to look at it in a different way, and just enjoy life, really, and perhaps give it up another couple of notches to what their normal existence would be. Now, there'll be a lot of people going thinking, well, I don't need to do that, but go with it. It's just like yoga, and it's like exercise. It's art, which is basically good for the personality and good for the mind.
Oh, beautifully put. And people do make all sorts. People do make. It's so good to have you here. I think.
I'm so excited to be back here again. On what show is it? On this show.
Yes. Hello, Birmingham. Oh no, where am I?
It's me head. It's gone.
Somebody help him there, like James Brown. Will Garvo come out towards the end of the show and put a blanket around you and lead you off
Probably,
stage?
yeah. I want to be sprayed with water. Yeah. And
careful what you wish for. Careful what you wish for.
But he'll come on with a bucket, won't he? And just like.
It'll be like Tiz was. Once more.
I am not pandering to his sexual proclivities.
Not again, eh? Not after last time.
Please don't pander to those.
So TerenceAustinArtist.com. Quite a good compliment to what we're doing here is for people to take a little bit of a look when in a moment when you're not in action on the screen, of course. But Terence Austin Artist is the amazing website of Terence here. Let's get a bit of backstory, because you've been. Do you mind me referring to you as a seasoned expat?
Well, there's a debate at the moment, isn't there, between being a seasoned expat and a seasoned immigrant. I don't mind whichever. Probably I am an immigrant, we should get rid of this expat thing and just say, yeah, we're immigrants. But yeah, seasoned, I've been here about 15 years.
Okay. All right. So I'm just changing. I was going to call it, I've nearly put immigrant expat, but I'm going to change it to seasoned immigrant as is your preferred term for this.
Well, don't worry about it,
Yes, there we go. No. That's good. I hope I've spelled that correctly. Seasoned immigrant sounds a little bit like you've been marinated for a while, maybe in a Ziploc bag. Is that how you would describe your experience here? You have been marinated in the Portuguese sunshine, olive oil, and various other herbs and spices, presumably. How would you describe this?
You've obviously heard that I drink a lot with a marinated. Do you pickle yourself in a jar?
No, I'm not referring to those
rumors. An olive?
I am not referring to those horrible rumors that are going around the Silver Coast and Central.
Horrible, terrible, but most of them are true.
Yes, I resent that, but I don't deny it. So yes, tell us about those 15 years. And is this really where your whole artist? Go on, sorry.
Guys, 15 years of fun, basically. 15 years of living in a great place, of sunshine, laughter, living a slower pace of life, perhaps digging a bit deeper into life and having the time to do that. I still work, okay? So I'm not one of these guys that, sits on the beach all day or whatever. I couldn't do it. But it's a really interesting place. Lovely history, lovely culture, lovely people, some nice food. And what I like about it is that for an artist, it's got the light, so you can see into shadows. They're not dark shadows. Everything is live. For photographers, it's brilliant because your shooting day is quite long. So if you want to keep occupied while you're here, it's a great place. It's a great place to retire to, but also if you want to do something and be occupied, there's also a lot of things on offer.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe it needn't be a case of either or. Well, how about that? Being on the beach. I wouldn't mind doing that. If anybody wants me to sit with them on the beach of San Martino de Porto and do a little bit of consultancy in inverted commas, that would be best. That would be the best of both worlds. Right? Yes. Okay. We got the money. Bring the money. Okay. Hand over the money. Right now, what do you want to know? And pass the sun.
It's what we all aspire to.
Pass the sun cream. Oh, you couldn't do my back, could you? Give me a discount. Right. Okay. Right. I loved what you said about art and creativity. And obviously, you're absolutely spot on there. This is an amazing country for the light, the lifestyle, the atmosphere in which the artistic endeavor can take place. And look at this, some examples. This is wonderful. The production going on behind the scenes here. What a wonderful backdrop for creativity. And people, I'm sure, are already making excuses. No, I can't do that.
Can you guess where those are?
That could be the bay there. So is that Aveda? No, that's not the lighthouse at Aveda, is it? No, I don't know that one.
Come on now. That's
Salir,
that's Peniche Harbour.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
I'll put that in there for the Silver Coast for you, buddy.
Well, that's one I'm more familiar with. You just wanted to say Peniche, or get me to say Peniche, which is also a bit of a
wonderful San Martino. What a picturesque bay, calm waters, safe bathing, quite rare, in the wild Atlantic. And every now and then you're lucky because you see different things happening. Like, for instance, one day I was actually, what do you call it, doodlebugged by a microlight aircraft, which was about 8 feet off the ground.
Yes.
I got quite worried. Other things, sights. I mean, I saw a horse one day and I thought, well, I might capture that, I might recreate that. So that was a recreation. But there's a lot of activities that go on San Martino Bay because it's a beautiful bay and it's always sunny, a bit windy sometimes, but hey.
Do you know
Nick,
what? I was in there.
Oh, can you guess where that is?
That's Peniche. No, that's at Grallia.
Is it?
No.
Well, good guess. But it's actually it's the cliff tops above Praia del Rey, which is obviously famed for its golfing. Okay, which is really fantastic.
Okay. So we've gone south here.
Golf
we've gone south towards Foz de Reis.
Golf courses around there.
Yeah.
Then again, it's got fresh cliff top walks, a lot of light and sun and breeziness and color. The colors are so fantastic with the indigenous plants and coastal vegetation.
Yeah,
fantastic. Fantastic color.
Well, you used a number of adjectives back to back there about what in many ways I would say epitomizes your style. There's freshness, there's light, there's dynamism, there's so much loveliness going on in these pictures. But you can turn your hand to all sorts of things. I mean, you mentioned photography. You are a photographer. These are lovely scenes of the Silver Coast that are being shared with us, and they are. I guess there's an aquatic theme going on here, isn't there? There's a coastal and sea theme going on here. But you do turn your hand to all sorts of work, don't you? It's not just this genre and style. But here we go. It is a different example.
These are vine leaves, which again, it goes back to the color and the seasons of Portugal. There's a lot of vineyards around here, which make fantastic world-class wine. Not a lot of people know about it. So try it. Because they can compete with Australian and Californian and French wines, They are very individual because they kept about 400 grape varieties in Portugal, where the rest of Europe and America traded all their grape varieties, which basically followed French grapes, not the Portuguese. Because of Salazar, etc., they kept all their very unique grapes varieties, over 400 of them, to themselves. And because they, didn't really export these, because the alcohol is quite high in comparison to a lot of other grape varieties, they have some wonderful, wonderful quality wines, and they're not going to break the bank either. You'd be so surprised at the price. Literally, you can spend €5. I don't know what that is in dollars. Probably about what, $6? Yeah, and you can get a bottle of wine which you should have paid $25, $30 for.
Well, now you mention it, we will be starting the wine club again on the 1st of August. So just over a month away, and you will be able to try wines that, well, I guess it'll be difficult to find them sometimes in the United States. But if you're here already in Portugal and you want to try in the company of others who love Portuguese wine, including Terence's brother Gary, opening the batting on the 1st of August with the Cat Paw red wine. And what again, you're showing off and quite rightly so, your incredible talent here and a different style and approach here. But I've got to rewind you a little bit. Number of things said, and it's so generous in your deflecting the glory away from yourself and towards the beauty of Portugal and Portuguese wine there, for example. And isn't it interesting, I think, Terence, how there's a poignancy to the legacy we have then of what might have been, a dictatorship that was intensely nationalistic, which has given us the wine that we have today, a quirk of history.
It's a good way to look at it. Not a lot of people think about that, but the validity and uniqueness of the wine, can often come from that area of not exporting, not trading, staying within yourself. So they had to grow and develop their varieties, instead of being persuaded by international and commercial pressures that, you've got to have a Merlot or you've got to have Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes, absolutely. So resisting globalization early on then. How interesting. That had never occurred to me. So thank you. There you go. With your Renaissance man there and philosopher, as well as all these other skills that you're sharing. Before we go to... And a plumber as well. How about that? What, a big call out rate? Or
no, I'm making that up.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have been surprised though. I know what sort of plumber you are. Oh, it's very hot in here. I need to take my top off. That kind of plumber. Yes, those vibrant colours. Look, Michelle, good morning to you. Gorgeous artwork, Mr. Terence. How about that from Victoria, from one artist to another?
Thank you, Michelle. That's very kind.
I'm a sculptor, says Deborah Davies. I love your paintings. Again, the art.
Well, we need more 3D guys here.
Oh, okay.
I'm just flat on 2D. What can I do? I need to go 3D. We bring these 3D guys in.
Never ever would I think of you as being two-dimensional. Quite the opposite. I'm sure some of our conversations has taken us to the fifth dimension, Terence Austin. So there you go. There are your cartoons as well, or illustrations. And can we go back
do illustration for websites and books and things, which I really love doing because I can let my humor out the bag then, which I do like.
What happened in this picture? That lady looks quite happy. She looks like she might be in Porto recently.
I think that's square pegs in round holes, that one. This was for a psychology A-level site, helping kids get through their examinations, etc. And I think if you can reinforce information, which can be a bit dry and arid, with some humor, they remember it a lot more, and they can look back at that excuse me, type of picture, and it triggers memory or memories and revision that they've done, and it's a kind of gateway to let information out. So I enjoy working in those things as well.
Oh, amazing. Kawaii Panda's in this morning. Haven't been well of late. Well, sorry to hear that, Kawaii Pandas. Hope you're feeling better now. Loving these beautiful paintings. Oh, my word. Now, is Is that looks like a photograph there?
What's that?
But I think
No, this is my little surprise. This is probably the woman he'd most like to paint in his life.
Oh yes.
all right, okay. That's not
What is
one
it?
of your works, Sophia
You
Loren.
wish. You
Come
wish.
live with me and be my love, and we will all the pleasures prove that hills, valleys, dale, and field, and all the craggy mountains yield. Yes, it's Sophie Loren.
I think both the Austin brothers are fans of Sophia, I believe, if I remember. Boozy nights in the wine club. Yes, indeed. That's put some wind in the sails suddenly, and that's maybe the going back to the James Brown analogy. All we have to do to put a bit of lead in, an artistic metaphor here. To put lead in Terence's pencil, just flash up a picture of Sophia Loren during the show. Okay, the opposite effect. Okay, keep that picture away. No, stop it, Garvo.
Garvo.
The guy's a
He's
menace.
a devil, isn't he?
He is. So, folks, it is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday.
Okay.
You can ask anything about Portugal with me, and we'll do our best to answer. Me and Garvo as well, of course. Go on, Carrie.
Yeah, just a little prompt here. I think we should talk about that picture that's sitting behind him at the moment. So move on to that.
Yeah.
Now we're all acquainted with the most excellent Pete Bleach. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I think we need to go full screen for this.
Fantastic property. Great. He's a great host with Diane. They looked after us big style because as a family we went up towards Castelo Branco. Yeah. And we had a terrific stay there, and they were so kind, and so kind. He said, "Well, would you like to do a painting of my property?" And I've got to show it because it's kind of like in the stages of being completed, and haven't shown him yet. And I thought it'd be a good place to show a painting that's not totally finished. Okay, so let me just grab this. Let me just move this paint for a minute. And I'll put it down there.
Smash.
Crash. And whoops. Let's have a look at this baby, because he really does live in a great place. Now, don't worry, Pete, that you see a lot of blue areas. They'll turn green very quickly. All the geometry's been done, and all the measurements and tonal information has been blocked in. But you can see, for instance, that it's been done on a grid to make sure that all the dimensions should be correct. And this will all be kind of fields of green. But he really does live in a most excellent property. And if you ever get a chance to visit, do so if he invites you. But on the other hand, don't step
only if he invites you. That's a really good
Tesla. Because ever since he's done the old Tesla job on me, which is very fast. I don't think I've ever been as fast in my life. For some reason, I've wanted to start writing and painting with my left hand, and I don't understand why. It's had a big effect on me. So I don't know whether you can see it, Pete. All right, but there you are, buddy. It's coming along. Okay, perhaps we just do a. Oh, I've disappeared.
It just really wants a little bit in the corner of Pete going past on his tractor in the nude.
Yeah, Pete, we are available to put you in there. Okay, in any state you wish.
No. Well, hold on a minute, because I talked over the bit where you were talking about the Tesla. What happened? Are you recommending that people don't get in the Tesla with you?
No. Whatever you do, guys, if Pete says, "Want to have a go in the Tesla," don't. Right? Because you will move to another dimension. The thing is so fast, right?
Yeah.
And people that love a bit of speed, brilliant. I do, actually. I thought I liked a bit of speed until I took a ride in the Tesla, which, like I say, I came out of it and it had all sorts of effects on me. One of them was that I started writing with my left hand and painting with my left hand, which I've cured myself of now, but it was an interesting 2 weeks.
And is it true that you learned you suddenly started speaking Hungarian as well?
I can't speak Hungarian, but no, that's not true.
That's not true. But it was like Back to the Future.
I don't know where you got that from.
So it was another effect.
Another lie.
Yeah. Like Pete puts his foot down. It's like,
Seriously, you go into another time, another dimension.
Gentlemen,
Right.
Yeah.
time is running on. Are we going to do some?
Okay.
Oh,
So
yes.
I better do something because I'm under test now, aren't I? So bring back the paint.
Used to get
Okay,
off
I
it.
think we need. If you can put me full screen on this one, Carl, because I've
Yeah,
set
okay,
up for whatever angles I've got. So
Okay. Yeah.
go back to the man himself, and away you go, Mr. Austin.
Oh, right, we're on. Okay, so what I've got for
Hey.
you today is something that's quite emblematic of Portugal. Yeah. I won't tell you what it is at the moment because keep you all guessing. But
Very
really, talking about painting, it should be a fairly simple process. I say should be, but we'll see. So usually what I do is I quite like a sense of freedom. This isn't always the way I paint, but sometimes I quite just like painting in details with a brush. It gives you a sense of freedom and a bit of flexibility because you can do it with pencils or charcoal or whatever, and whatever you like, it's fine. You know, there are no problems. And if you feel that you've made a mistake, like I probably have done there, I want to make it a bit bigger, you can then alter what you do very quickly because we're painting in acrylics today and they dry quite fast. So I'll have a nice. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, don't want to keep using that phrase too much, but there are no problems. And if you feel that you've made a mistake, like I probably have done there, I want to make it a bit bigger, you can then alter what you do very quickly because we're painting in acrylics today and they dry quite fast. So we've got a doorway there. You can then alter what you do
blocking
very
the shadow
quickly
area.
because painting in acrylics today and they dry quite fast.
Hang on, I've got a
What I'm
delay.
going to do
No, you're okay.
is
That was my fault.
basically find all the dark areas because a painting is a process of finding darks and lights. To start with, it does change. I've got a bit of a tree coming in here, which I shall block in now, which is a wonderful olive tree. Now, Portugal is full of marvelous olives and olive oil. You can find some tremendous varieties of all sorts of oils and all sorts of grades, and they have cooperatives as well that you can visit. And if you grow your own oil, they'll press it for you, which is marvelous. So we actually spent a fantastic day as a family helping a friend out who had to collect some olives. And it was a lovely day, lovely sort of family day out. All the family helped. And I'm very lucky because I got to see some of the process involved in taking in olives and where they're sent to. And they do get sent to usually local cooperatives to be pressed. And hey presto, you get quite a large crop, which I think she had about 90 trees. And there was just so much. She couldn't actually harvest all the olives. And that's how abundant things are here. And also with the farming and things like that, there is a lot of agriculture. There are many growing seasons. If you don't just get one growing season or two, you probably get 3 or 4 growing seasons because what you will find is, I'm just putting in some dark information now on shadows just to get me going with the modeling and the form of the windmill. But coming back to the agriculture, it's very rich. And if you grow stuff, you'll find that not only can you just I don't know what it's like in certain parts of America or Britain, but where in Britain we get for 1 or 2 growing seasons, 3, 4, because of the temperature, the soil, the sun. The sun is a major contributor. So coming back to the painting, now you can see that probably you've worked out that it's a windmill, which there are plenty in Portugal. They're famous because Portugal is also quite a windy place. And, over the centuries, they've turned that to their advantage big time. So just put in a bit of dark here, finding out all the dark areas before I put the sails in, but I'll probably put the sky in first because it's easier and quicker not to kind of keep going back to the sky. There's a bit of a hill there behind. Let's just block these trees in, and also we'll flick some vegetation down here. You may see me looking down. I'm actually consulting a picture here, so forgive me for that. Right, time for clouds. Clouds. What do we do with clouds? Well, I've now got my can you get a top shot of that, Gaz?
I can. Overhead.
Yeah, palette knife. Palette knives are great for texture. Really, I believe that painting is all about texture. And the marks that you make, it's like handwriting. So if you have a particular style, it comes out in the kind of marks you make with palette knives, with brushes, different size brushes, different techniques, and you can use different things. I mean, you can use, for instance, kitchen pads, right? If you want to get a rough texture, and you stomp, 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 or scrunched up paper. If you want to get another texture, it really is up to you, and that's the fun of the experimentation. Right, so what I've done here, I don't know whether you can see that, but I've kind of broken the cloud formation coloration down into 3 tones. Got a dark, a mid-tone, and a light. You'll find that that's quite a very useful thing to do, a rule to keep. I'm not really into rules, but one of the rules that I do like. I've got a bit of a rough old brush here, and there's a reason for that. I like texture.
That was the one you used for my skirting boards, wasn't it?
Could be. Oh, does it have your name on? The Great Garvo.
Can we just see if Carl's got any comments or any questions to go in there?
No, I thought I'd lost him.
No, I haven't heard him for a while, so I'm beginning to wonder now. Can you come back in there, Carl? Is that possible?
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me now. I was trying to.
So I'll carry on. Right. So
he's there.
What we're going to do.
I'll go away again.
Also, can you hear me?
No, it's okay. Just in case you've got anything to add in there, Carl.
We didn't know whether we'd lost you, sir.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. So, I am lost in respect and reverie and awe at your skills here. I wanted to ask you the starting point. That is a stretched canvas, is it? And then you created a blue backdrop, did you? On top of that?
Yes. Thank you for that. That's a lovely question, and I should have told people what that's all about. Really, a rough rule is that you should always look at the color of light. Now, I was going to say at lunchtime, the light's different to early in the morning. Quite often in midday, it's a bluey white light because of the heat that you find in it. Towards the evening, it gets quite dark, and you have to reflect this in the colors that you use. So one of the ways you can reflect light is by painting a canvas the general color of light that you think it is, which on this occasion, because it's a fairly fresh, if you could look at the position of the sun, it's fairly high. It's going to be fairly bluish, it's not going to be sort of orangey or brownish, or it's quite light and quite intense. So you try and reflect that by using blue or white in your canvas, just putting a few dashes, a few highlights on the clouds. I may come back to these because you tend to kind of dash about when you're painting to get the general feel of what you're doing. But let's carry on now to mixing some color for the windmill, which on a day like this day, you need to kind of like tone down a little bit with white. You notice I don't use much black. Excuse me. Use much black in a composition because black does tend to kill off your painting. So use it very, very infrequently. There are times when you have to use it, and that's fine. Let's just try that. Put a bit of tone in there. Get a bit of shape to the building. Right, I think that's a bit agricultural. So what I will do now is use probably a smaller brush, a flat brush, which is going to give me a more sort of building flat treatment. And you can see that if we're above, you can, that some of the canvas color comes through, which one, it's more entertaining, and two, true to life, because you're actually replicating the color of light by doing this. So what I'm going to do now is use a little bit of brown, because this is built out of some beautiful stonework that you do find in Portugal a great deal. I'll put a bit of blue in this mix, right? And this will be my mid-tone. So if you can see that, we'll just work that in, build the shape up. I don't want to do too much blending in at this stage. I want to keep it open and sort of fresh, because you can always tidy up afterwards, which is something that you can do later. And often it's better to leave a painting a little while, because you get attuned to it and you see it in a different way than you do when at the time you're doing it. What I'm doing now is going for the darker sort of tone. I'm going to mix blue, French ultramarine, a touch of brown to warm it up. And the other thing that people should try and get used to is that a lot of shadows, nearly every shadow you can think of, always has a tiny amount of blue, which is incredible, because some shadows you think are just totally brown or red, or but they don't. They always have a little bit of blue in them. Could be a tiny amount, but it's still there, because shadows are generally made up of blue. Okay, I'm doing the roof now, and I think on these buildings quite often they used to, I don't know what kind of material they have. Is it slate or
Presumably, yeah, straight slate, isn't it?
schist, as they call it here.
Really?
A great night on the schist.
I always find, right, and I can draw, but when it comes to painting, it's knowing how to construct your colours and get them to look like what you're looking at. So for me, that's one of the hardest things.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too bothered about getting colours, exact, because it's a tough one. It's not easy to do. Mixing colours is a bit of an art in itself. And I've been lucky because I've had a lot of practice at it and can look at colours and say, yeah, it's got a bit of that, and a bit of that. And, by and large, I can get fairly near. But I think the point that I want to make more than anything today is get out and look at Portugal, and perhaps with fresh eyes, and say, well, I wonder if I could do a painting of that. I wonder if I could take a photograph. I mean, we all take photographs, but can you take a better photograph? Can you take it at, the classic times for photography are dawn and dusk. So look at a scene and say, what would that look like? Just as the sun was rising, or just as the sun's going down. What can I get out of that? And because Portugal, like I say, offers some brilliant locations and sites. So take advantage. You're here, right? You might never have tried to do that before. Have a go. You might find that you're actually quite good at it. Because in my experience, a lot of people sort of say, well, I can't draw a straight line. Who can? I can't. You ask me to draw a straight line and, I'm lost.
Well, on that note,
so
can I ask you a couple of questions here? Because
please do.
it's so beautiful. What you have been likened here to the great Bob Ross, and I think what people loved about Bob Ross is the chat that's going on, and you're doing that brilliantly, telling us about Portugal, and it is utterly mesmerizing and relaxing watching you work. It's a lovely experience to be involved in this. So thank you for that on the top level of that. And then what's also going on is possibly people thinking, I could never do that. And I know at the same time, you are being very encouraging to tell people to just go out and do it. Do you have any more advice like that? I mean, the kit, how do people get started? Is it okay to pop to the Chinese shop and splash out about €5 and come away with a bag full of, cheap oils or pastels or whatever, some paper? And is that the advice? Just get on with it. Don't allow your inner critic to stop you.
Pretty much jump in, right?
Okay.
And now, paints from the Chinese shop, deep respect, the Chinese shops, they're not the best quality. However,
Okay.
they'll do to get started with. Sorry, Gary, you had a
Yes.
question.
I was just going to say, we didn't actually mention these acrylics, did we?
No, we didn't. I am using acrylics because basically what I find is that with acrylics, they're kind of like halfway house almost between oil paints, which I love, and also watercolor, which I'm not so greatly enamored with, because personally, it's just a personal choice. You can see some great watercolors, by the way. So take notice of my kind of reticence to identify with watercolors. But I'm just doing a bit of landscape at the back there now, keeping that little blue patch. They're a halfway house. Okay,
Where's the best place for the beginner to jump in, as you say? What materials? What are the basics to get going in the way that you're suggesting?
Well, for instance, if we're talking about acrylics, I would probably suggest getting yourself some canvas board. This is a canvas board, which is basically cardboard with a piece of canvas stuck on it. They're pretty cheap, and you can get some good effects out of them and some good practice, because they give you that feeling of a canvas, and also they provide a realistic kind of halfway house between a full-fledged canvas, which is quite springy.
Yeah.
So, fully fledged canvases give quite a lot. And some people like that, and some people prefer something firmer. But it's going to, a sort of card canvas will give you a basis to start from, and figure out what you like. I think that's important.
Yeah.
But basic colors, yeah. You can actually mix your whole colors with cyan, magenta, and yellow, but it's such a difficult task. So really, I advise to get things like ultramarine blue, probably that's a cyan blue. I don't know whether you can see that up top.
Oh, a lovely big tub of acrylic. Yeah. Okay. So these are
lovely big tub of that. Yeah, those are your two blues. I think it's a good idea to get a good solid purple. Yeah. Because you always find a fair amount of purple in shadows.
Mm-hmm.
For a yellow, go for something a mid yellow like that. Nothing too acidy or nothing too orangey. This is a very good color, which is burnt umber. That will, where you use black, where you naturally have a tendency to want to use black to tone a color down, try a little bit of brown. It's better than black, because black is a mighty color. It's a tone, actually. It's not a color, and it will govern everything you do. Okay. Also, this is
mustard. Hot dog mustard.
It's yellow ochre. Officially, it's yellow ochre, but it's a mustard. This is good because it's kind of desaturated. It's not intense, and it will give you those subtle yellows and beiges. But also, very important is, it will give you a good range of earthy greens. So, for instance, if we use one of these, if I put a little bit of yellow here, let's say, over here, you see, you can just dot it on and, kind of brighten up your landscape. And you can then mix that in. You can use fingers, paper towels, whatever. Now, the other advantage with the acrylics is they dry very quickly. so you don't have to wait around, for things to dry out. And with oil colors, it can literally take 6 months to dry properly. I'm just going to put a bit of foreground detail in now, just to bring the foreground alive. And that is a mix of yellow ochre plus Naples yellow. There.
Naples yellow sounds so
Naples
lovely.
yellow. Now what
Yes.
we'll do is we'll just, to get recession and a difference, we'll just make that a bit darker, shove that back. You notice I'm using a smaller brush now because I need to occupy a smaller amount of space. But if you keep blending, magically the landscape will appear.
It
and the
is.
same with the trees here, look. You use different sort of brush marks to emulate trees, sort of feathery, not particular in any way, suggestions. A lot of
Yeah.
painting is suggestion. It's not actually really photographically correct, but it brings back emotions and feelings. And you also allow people to join in with your painting because they look at different marks that you make, and it's a psychological effect that, and they put their own spin on the marks that you put in there.
Yes. Well, Victoria said this: the viewer's eye will resolve what's not there. And that's along the lines you're thinking of, isn't it? And then
Brilliant.
That's
Yeah,
the engagement. That's the engagement, isn't it, that you want from your audience?
exactly. Because it's like reading a book. You see a film, you've got all the details there. Reading a book will suggest things to you, and in a way, you are interacting with the book because you can use your own imagination to fill in the blanks. Now, in some way, painting does the same thing by making marks which may not be anything, but letting the viewer actually think they are, and start imagining, their own experiences, filling in the blanks. It's a very important thing to do to help people by letting them have enough space to put in their own feelings, their own experiences of the world. And there are so many artists that over-explain stuff when really you don't need to. Okay, it's something that you can do and let people imagine what is actually in there. Now, what we'll do with that is I just might blend this out a bit.
Do you know what? This is so relaxing. I think you've largely silenced the audience this morning.
Oh, that's God, no!
I'm going to come in with a bit of a question here. Now, I know on YouTube site you've got lots of little videos and stuff that you've done of a similar nature to this.
Yep.
But if you take it to the next level, and we're doing it here, I mean, people are making comments. Would you consider doing an interactive sort of online sort of teaching program or anything like that? I know I put you on the spot there, and I shouldn't, but I'm just thinking that if this is popular with people, what we're seeing here, and there is enough people out there who want to do this, it's the obvious choice.
Well, I have obviously run courses before, and they're very rewarding. I will be honest with you. I thought I wouldn't like doing them. Yeah, I thought, oh God, no, somebody's going to come to me. Oh, I do watercolors, and I did find that it really surprised me how much I enjoyed it, because people are so nice,
yes,
and so genuine, and if you can help them see the world in a little bit of a different way, and I also fervently believe that people, they are their own worst enemies because they run themselves down so much.
Yes,
you can't do this, and I can't draw a straight line, and they can. It's evident in everything they do. They can do this. So really, it's one of those things that I think, yes, I need a bit of brown there. That, yeah, it's a good idea. I haven't really thought about it for a long time, but perhaps I should, you know?
Yes, you
Um,
should. Okay, I'm mesmerized, says Victoria. We all are. It's gone really quiet in the chat, and that's not a bad thing. It's people are just engaged with this process, this delight unfolding. Delight is the right word to use, isn't it? In all sorts of senses of the word delight. You're delighting us, you're engaging us. Victoria is mesmerized with that idea. Yes, please, I would join. Hello, Shelley. Good morning to you. So a Lowry, there was a Lowry here this morning, which is see what I did there.
Excellent.
Yes, yes, please. I would join the project you just mentioned there, Garvo. I would love it if he had time. Says Kawaii Pandas as well. Deagle says that painting would take me 30 years, not 30 minutes to do. Less than that, right? Boaz, I wish I had an artistic talent. I never told anyone, but I do use children's coloring books for my art expression. Well, thank you for sharing. And why not? Why not, Moaz? Thank you for that. We
I think that's
agree.
a brilliant idea.
Yeah, why not? We agree, Victoria. So creative and captivating. We can just run this back, and it's a lovely tutorial as is. Feeling to get my paints out and follow along. Thanks for the inspiration, Terence, and thank you for sharing, Terence, says Michelle in Australia. Now, another thing that we could do, I'm see how I'm bringing myself into this now, but it's wine and paint places have become popular here. This is in New Jersey in the United States. You could go with a bunch of friends and play with the paints for an evening and see how you like it first without investing in all the paraphernalia. And Jim says, I think even in Porto now, there's a wine and paint group that meets like that. And the teacher supplies the materials. It's easy entrance into trying something new. Wine and paint. It brings the Austin brothers together as well, doesn't it? But wouldn't that be a lovely thing? Portuguese wine,
Portuguese wine, Portuguese paint.
Oh,
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
see a problem. I think anything that gets people going and trying, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. That's fine.
Yeah.
You
You'll
know,
have had a
but
fun
the thing
evening.
is
You'll have had
to
a fun
try.
time. Yes.
I don't know
yes.
whether you agree, Carl, but you know, a lot of people, they get to retirement age and they do the expat thing of, you know, going to meals and sort of friends and sitting on the beach and etc., etc., etc. And it's great, you know, that life is brilliant. But after a while, you know, you turn around and you've done that 20 or 30 times. What are you going to do with the rest of your life?
Yeah,
You know,
indeed.
and if you've had a bit
Well,
of a yen to always like do a bit of painting, photography, illustration, something visual, you're out and about all the time usually in Portugal because the climate allows it. And
yes.
why not use that time to look at the world a little bit differently, take an opportunity. You may not like it, okay? It may not be something that you and eventually follow, but you've tried it. It's
Yes.
something that you've looked at, and you may discover something about your own character and personality. I guarantee you, if you do paint, it will change the way you see the world. And you think, well, what's that about? You know,
No,
see the world.
that's such a good point, Terence, because at the moment, if we, what do we think of when we think of the world? We think of the trouble in the world so much, don't we? Because of the way our minds have been habituated by the media, you might say. And there's just a certain thing going on at the moment, isn't there? And in
I
many
think,
ways, I believe you to be the antidote. What you're talking about is the antidote to that, to remember the beauty of life, the light, the engagement, the suspending those critical and rational ways that the mind works into this openness of connecting with what's in front of you in the senses, connecting with the senses, and then engaging the mind and the heart in a different way in this self-expression. But that's got to be a good thing for not just yourself, but for humanity, right?
well, yeah. And I mean, let's never. I agree totally, by the way, with what you've said. I know I'm shifting on there, but you made some great points. Is that, you know, just to echo what you've said, that we ignore a lot because we told, oh, well, the economy's falling and unemployment's up and, you know, this, that, and the other. And we forget to appreciate the world and how lucky we are. Now, what painting will do for you is actually re-establish that connection with nature, but also tell you that we are lucky. We're some of the luckiest people on the planet,
So true.
here. And we
Yep.
should be thankful for that, not
Yes.
sort of, but the way you realize that is by doing things like this and coming away from all the bad news and all the, the news media got to sell you some bad news. And don't forget, I've worked in it, so I know how it operates.
Yes.
And some of it is a con job. So, and it's contrived to make you keep looking at bad news and believing that, everything's bad. It isn't. Okay. Things aren't, as bad as the news would make you believe. Okay.
Absolutely.
Various situations. Fine. But what art will do will give your mind a break from all of that. And I think we could all do with that. We could all do with a bit of peace. We deserve it.
Yeah.
Anybody does.
Yeah.
That's my little statement over with.
No, that's so important. What an amazing! I'm so glad this. I don't even know how this came about, but here we are, by the serendipity and circumstance. And look at this in front
Who's
of you.
responsible?
Yes, who did this? Find them. Bring them. Terence, you must arrange to give this picture to Carl and Louisa for bringing us all together. I like that comment. A thank you from the community. That's very sweet of you, Deagle. It is incredible. Just do it, says Victoria. And we're here to encourage and support each other, aren't we, in this endeavour? I believe this is the highest percentage of
I'm
likes
going to do the plug. I'm going to do the plug, Carl. Go to his website, go to his YouTube site, because there's lots of little videos on there, which is slightly different from this. We're obviously limited for time here, but go there, press the like, subscribe, whatever, right, and you'll see a lot more of this sort of stuff.
Well, keep it coming. Keep it current, Terence, with this. Yes, so true. Even if you think you aren't Picasso, I mean, in many ways, it's a blessing not to be Picasso, isn't it? Considering some of the things that went on for him. Even if you think you aren't Picasso, just finding some kind of expression to help you mend your mind. This is mind mending stuff, not mind.
There you go.
Yeah, mind bending. Thank you, Cindy B, for that comment. The highest percentage of likes to watchers I've seen at this point in the show. So well done, Terence. You made that happen.
Really? What,
just
through
this
daubing?
bit of daubing.
Bit of daubing?
I need to ask you, have you ever said to anyone, obviously in your previous life, would you like to come and see my etchings? Did you ever utter that to anybody?
There's been a couple of times when I wanted to, especially when someone seems particularly attractive, but I've never really. It's never really worked for me,
Okay.
Come and see my etchings.
It's a bit 60s. You can borrow my polo neck. You can borrow my polo neck if you ever need to say that. That's an offer to anybody.
I don't think I've got a polo neck at the moment, so I shouldn't I? It's got to be black, hasn't it?
Yes, it does have to be of a darker hue. I used to watch it every morning before secondary. Not a great way to start your day. Yeah, the media, I think we're talking about there. It's habitual, isn't it? Thanks for the reminder.
It's just constant.
Yeah.
Constant, and people need to be aware of this, okay?
Yes.
Because they have to sell copy, they have to sell news, they have to, in a way, make people feel bad to get them watching news. And the more you take notice of it, I mean, it has an effect on you. Studies have been done where people have analyzed whole effects of basically propaganda on populations. The COVID thing is a great example, where people become depressed, they become watchful, suspicious. They forget to be people.
Yes, well said.
If you sit with a bunch of people doing art, you'll have a lot of fun. At the very least, you'll have fun. Okay, because there are a lot of nice artist type people, and they're some of the best people to know and love because because of art, it's taught them to look at the world in a bit of a looser, more open, expressive way, and therefore they're more amenable to ideas. And this is what it does for you. You know, it opens your eyes that, you know, for what you thought was a particular view of something, you can then, after sort of following the principles in art, open your mind a little bit and really kind of take in stuff, you know, from a different angle. That's what art will give you, hopefully.
Oh, yes. And yeah, this is a time as well, isn't it, to invest in the arts. And this is why we need to invest in the arts. And we have to say Portugal does a pretty good job with that, right? Public art is well
Have a look at
respected.
the top shot down, see what it looks like. I've got a dirty, great big standby something on the monitor. I can't actually see what it is, but it's looking okay, I think. Okay, sorry, Carl. Just a bit of sort of production back chat there.
Not at all, not
I am amazed. I'm totally amazed that this setup is holding up, because it's blowing out heat all over the place. So if there's a delay or something, I apologise. It's doing the best it can for a poor little i5 processor. So forgive our little sins.
There's another thing I want to cover as well, right? I mean, unfairly, a lot of people might think, because of my history in sort of video production, a bit of TV and all of that, that actually I'm the kind of driving force here. But Garvo has bent his mind around various broadcasting platforms. And if it wasn't for this guy, I wouldn't be sitting here today doing this with you. Right,
Yeah.
so he does
Shout out
deserve
to the great
a good
Garvo.
shout out, yeah, because
Absolutely.
hey!
I'll give you the camera later on.
Beautiful.
I'm not totally happy with that bush, but I think I've got to move on now to start, because time's shifting on.
Yes, it is.
And we need to start putting in some other details. So here we go with the old, what do you call them? The arms, the spines, what?
Oh, that's
Sails?
interesting. Yeah, because Antonio was asking if there were going to be sails. Often what you see on the Silver Coast here is a disused windmill, right? With without the sails on it.
You do.
Suze is up late with the Good Morning Gumpers, and a lot of people have sent me in their artwork as a result of being inspired by you, which I'll show you tomorrow. Everybody, thank you so much to everybody who sent in their work. You are an incredibly creative bunch. It has to be said. We knew that, but we have the evidence, more evidence of that, which I'll share tomorrow, including Suze. Thank you, Suze. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, Victoria, for sending your artwork in. And anyone else who wants to share, we'll do that. We'll have a bit of a gallery tomorrow. I don't know if I can play that.
You remember Tony Hart? I've got all the American viewers. Sorry about this. It was a British TV program that we all enjoyed as kids.
Yes.
It wasn't
Take Heart.
Paint Along with Nancy. Remember that? With
Paint
rather
Along with
girlish
Nancy,
lady with
Rob
the
Ross, Nancy, yeah.
She was lovely. I mean, she was really probably responsible for me getting into art as a kid.
Oh, really?
Because superb. I mean, that is the marvelous thing about television, right?
Yeah.
Because I was a bit of a naughty lad. I didn't go to school too much, right? Sorry. There's plenty of times you think, well, what am I going to do in my day? And then Paint Along with Nancy would come along, right? Which sounds rubbish, but was really good because you did a lot of work with palette knives and stuff like that. And she was fabulous. But of course, in the old days, they didn't keep all the recordings, so she's not, there for posterity anymore.
Well, you've picked up the baton or the palette knife, and it could be Terence, that some other what was the expression in Birmingham for not going to school? Wagging it, bunking off,
wagging it, wagging it.
There might be some other kid wagging it this morning, watching this and thinking, I want to do that. That Terence guy's pretty cool, as it turns out.
Well, I tell you what, if people think that, then I'm a happy man, because I want them to have the pleasure and fun I've had doing various bits, because I do murals and I do, quite large paintings, various commissions, and it's given me so much fun and a way to meet people and understand them in very diverse and particular ways. which I
Yeah.
never would have imagined being able to do if I'd just, gone into banking or something.
So
I
hold
don't
on a
think I
minute,
would.
though. I mean, this is purpose for you then, and it's given you something. It's therapeutic and self-expression. It's so many things to you, as well as being a creative and professional artist.
Oh yes, I mean when you see people. I mean, for instance, I don't know whether you can get that picture up, Gaz, of the ice hockey girl.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Okay, it's up.
that composition was really, I love doing that. That work was fabulous because I was kind of let off my leash a little bit. That tornado didn't actually exist, and the lightning and all that. I had to put that in because she's actually an ice hockey goalie. She plays for the national team Liechtenstein. Some Swedish clients who are godparents, I think, decided to do a bit of a painting, get a painting done for her, I think it might be her birthday, something like that. So basically, I got that commission and I loved every minute doing that because I could go and paint my little tornado in there and do all sorts of stuff that really wasn't there. And then you have to be accurate as well,
Yes.
and make sure that the thing is sort of recognizable. And it's always a balance then, isn't it, of how kind of artistic do you make it and creative and how real. So it's always a battle. But I mean, that's the interesting thing. I mean, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning, you know.
Yes.
Got to finish
Challenge.
peach painting off. Sorry?
Yeah. It's the challenge, isn't it? I mean, it's so sort of philosophical, metaphorical, what we're talking about. You're dealing with light and dark, aren't you? And I think you said that earlier on. And whether it's utterly realistic or whether it's a little bit abstract, these are the forces you're working with that we all work with in our lives, and there it is expressed artistically.
Yeah. I think roughly, yeah, I agree with you. I think you've put it far more adroitly than I can. But this is the fun and this is the interest that you can have. And these are the doors that, open up to you when you do things like this. So it's a great, great thing to do. I think I've got a sale over here as well, I think. I may have missed a sale out.
I'm just putting
Anyway,
it your
no worries.
featuring
We
your
can put that
website here. Go have a look at Terence's website, and that'll give you the links to the YouTubes that Garbo was talking about. Lovely picture of you there. Very
Yep.
warm welcome to you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to convey the pleasure of life here on Portugal's Silver Coast through my works of art. So that is TerenceAustinArtist.com is where you need to go for that. And of course, how has Central Portugal impacted you as an artist? The move from the Silver Coast to more central.
It's different. Obviously, less sea.
Yes.
But it's what I like around this area is the countryside, because there's a high deciduous forest type. It's not so much sort of eucalyptus and all that you get on the Silver Coast, which is fine, but can become a bit mundane. So there's a lot of light and tone and form and shape in the forests out here, and the countryside is very verdant and very interesting. So, and you get a lot of stone here, stone buildings, which I absolutely love, which are fabulous things to look at and to try and capture.
Yeah.
And they're great for photography and all of that. I think it's quieter here, which I'm not certain whether I'm totally appreciative of that, but it swings and roundabouts. And I do like the life, there's a lot of interesting stuff up here too. There's waterfalls, rivers. Tomar is brilliant because I love a place with a river that goes through it. I mean, you just can't get any better than that. So really good stuff. So, if you ever get a chance to come up here, there's the caves at Mira. There's
the
a,
big
there's a hell of a lot to do, but I think
yeah, there's a great big visual feast about to happen in Tomorrow, isn't there? With the what's it called? The big festival where the girls are walking around with the bread and
Tabua. Is it
flowers.
tabula? Tabula, is it?
Tabuleros,
No, yeah,
tabuleros,
tabuleros,
tabuleros.
that's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's not this year, that's next year.
Oh, is it? Sorry, I thought
Yes.
it was happening this year. Okay, so
No.
that's happening in July of
They're
next year
just
then.
preparing for it now.
Wow, yeah, a long run up to that. No running with those things on your head though. Incredible. So be some real color and visual delight in Tomorrow then next July. Look at that, Terence. This has been so incredible this morning.
well, you're very welcome. You don't understand that I do have a lot of fun when I come on the show. You know, it's not. you shouldn't really think that I don't. That it's some. I have a giggle and I have fun, and you know, let's be honest. I do this nearly every day of my life, so it's no
Yeah.
massive thing for me.
Yeah,
You know, but if people can remember, you know, that time passes on, and also remember that I used to run a shop with my wife here in the early days, and we used to get people come in, and they just retired, and you know they'd made the switch, and they'd waited and they'd waited and they'd waited until the time was right,
yeah.
and then a bit later on, 8 months, a year down the track, you find out that they've suffered problems, health problems, which stops them getting out. So do it now. Do something.
Yeah, it's a good plea or a good proposition for people there. You know, we are talking more and more about what now syndrome, and you alluded to it, of course. You know, the thing you dream of doing when you come to Portugal. You know, maybe it is the coffee and the pastel de nata for brunch and a nice lunch, prato do dia. It's great. It is absolutely great to do that, and it can leave you thinking, what next? What now? Now we've done the hard part of making everything happen to be here. We like the food, we like the little 11s, and we like the pastries. And then there is this great, I mean, I think it comes to everybody, doesn't it? When they settle down, when they slow down, there is like, what next? What now? It's not just about being in Portugal. It's life, isn't it? It's life. When you
Yeah.
cut yourself some slack, you have the opportunity. Life is calling on you to be possibly more authentic, self-expressed, those sorts of things. You have the opportunity to do it. And Terence's invitation to you and encouragement to you and inspiration this morning is to go ahead and do it. And I think he's shown.
I will
he's
always
led the way, he's led the way.
I always encourage people to go and do it. Okay, even if it doesn't work out, right? You tried it and it worked or it didn't work, but you can always have pride that you did something. You did give it a go, and I think that is very, very, very important. It's essential, and realize that time ticks on. You know, none of us are getting any younger. Look at me. You know,
What?
I'm 84.
Thank you, Terence, says Jim White. And this really sums it up, I think, for a lot of us here this morning. Thank you so much, Terence. Inspirational and soothing. Loved watching you paint. So we would do that again, I think, a lot of us, if that opportunity arises, which I hope it will. And maybe there'll be wine involved, or maybe it will be a get together where there's wine and painting and creativity and self-expression and laughs and giggles.
Well, as
That'll
long
be
as
so.
there's not too much wine involved. Don't about the
Okay,
state of the paintings.
drink and paint. Okay, I really enjoy. They go very abstract, or they could become very therapeutic, couldn't they? With people just thoroughly expressing themselves, going all Jackson
Show the
Pollock.
old the last shot there. Can we see it?
Overhead, yeah.
Yes, let
Have
me
you
get the comments out of the way for a minute. There you go. That is
Sorry.
amazing. Beautiful.
Is that monitor gone, is it?
There you go, the reveal, the big reveal, incredible. Both of you, Messrs. Austin there and Terence, of course, superb. I love these various angles on it as well. Thank you, Garvo, for doing that technically, and Terence, thank you for doing that for us this morning. So
You're welcome.
so good. I don't want to go. I think so many of us could have stayed here, just watched you and chatted while you did that. Best hump day start ever for Deagle. Wonderful talent and art. Yeah, thank you, Terence from Jim. And yeah, what she says, what Victoria says, thank you so much. Inspirational and soothing. Loved watching you paint. Simon saying amazing and evocative. Matty, that's the same with everything else. Do it, try it. And the worst you can say afterwards is I tried, it's not for me, but be open-minded about it and get rid of I can't do this. Round of applause from Shelley, who's not often here, but she was inspired and moved to comment. So thank you. Give it a go. Whatever it is, succeed or fail, find out. Not trying is a fail. Well said, Suze. Yes. And you don't look 84. Must be because you're able to do such a wonderful job. Beautiful painting. Thank you for this from Kawaii Pandas. I don't want to go, Terence, but we should perhaps, maybe you probably got to go and paint professionally now. And we have other things to do. I'm sure other people do it. It is with heavy feet and hands here. I can barely click on my mouse. I just want to be here and hang out a bit longer with you. But thank you so much. Last words to you, my friend.
Well, last words were, guys, thanks very much for having the patience to stick with it. Really, the central message is go do something, because time passes on, and don't put it off. Do it, but do it well.
Don't be a procrastinator.
Don't be a procrastinator.
I won't be back because I'll be procrastinated. Don't do it. Don't do that, but do the other thing. Do the creative, do the artistic thing that Terence has so beautifully shared with us this morning. Thank you, Garvo, and I hope we'll do this again sometime. Garvo,
Great. Okay. If you've got the patience to stick with it, I have.
Okay, and how would people, if you are going to be doing events, is the website the place to stay in touch with you to learn about any developments?
The YouTube channel will give you tutorials free. They're not too long. They're about 10 minutes each painting. I try and keep them down as best I can, because I don't want them going, on too long. But they give you an idea of how to paint, what to do, how to compose and stuff like that. And I'll keep building those for people. So that's going to be a bit of a resource, I hope, that people can use. And have a look at the website, terenceaustinartist.com. And actually, if you search YouTube and put Terence Austin Artist in there, I should come up.
Very good.
Okay, there's a wide receiver, I think, that plays for an American football team as well.
There is. Yes, I thought you played American football as well for a moment, but no, that's another gentleman.
I played American football in my very early years. Yeah.
Did you?
I was a running back. I was always running back to the
changing room. Right, Terence.
I was a tight end.
Yeah, Gary was a tight end, but that's not talking anything about that.
Yeah, not surprised to hear that at all. Gentlemen, that's been so wonderful this morning. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Terence Austin, everybody. Superb. Okay, see you later, guys. Thank you so much. We have to move on. Oh, my goodness. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to push that button. It seemed wrong to be pushing the button to say goodbye to the amazing Austin brothers. They're in Alviagra. That was superb. I think a lot of us will be watching that again. It was therapeutic. It was inspiring. It was beautiful. And I really do hope we can do that again. And I like that idea, the wine and paint. That'll bring the brothers together, won't it? The Austin brothers. Gary Garvo on wine research, and Terence there with the skills that you saw him blessing us with this morning. Absolutely superb. It's 10:15, everybody. A time for a quick one of these then this morning, because this is another aspect, isn't it, of self-expression, is staying fit in body and mind. And another reason to get out there and do it. But where's the video? Oh, here it is. The big note there means that it's the God Squad tip of the day. Just as a plan helps create a framework for keeping healthy, so recording what you have done, even if only mentally, can help you track progress. I guess, yes, if you're painting, you're surrounded by your canvases as your progress, and same with photography. Same with exercise, perhaps. You could write down your achievements as you work towards your individual, personal, holistic best. So don't fret about it, though. But how about that? Yes, maybe take a few photos of you out on your walks. And there's some lovely software, actually, for Andy uses this, and Andy had a really great comment, actually. He says, we met a lovely chap, Paul Woods, artist at the expat meetup, who has just opened an art retreat centre next door to the Luis Pato. This wine and painting thing is catching on, isn't it? That's near the Pato winery near Anadia. So what a lovely idea. Thank you, Andy, for suggesting that. And when Andy goes out on his cycles and when you're a runner as well, it's mainly cycling, isn't it? You document those. So we've got some great apps for doing that. And you can look back and say, yeah, I am doing it. I am taking care of myself. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here today. Tomorrow, of course, Jim White and talking to Dallas about technology for people coming from mainly the United States, but a lot of it will be transferable. Those tech hacks, fixes, or the challenges and the hacks and fixes to deal with them tomorrow, as well as talking to Jim White. Really looking forward to that. Tomorrow evening at 7:30, this misconceptions. Look, it looks like a DJ there, doesn't it? Misconceptions and misinformation about access to healthcare in Portugal. Oh, Austin Brothers, keep that shot because we'll go out with that. I will put that up as we go out on the show, if you don't mind, Garbo. Misconceptions and misinformation about access to healthcare in Portugal. Michael Averbook, Dr. Averbook, will be with us for a Q&A tomorrow at 7:30. And of course, Premium Plus folks, see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow, straight after that. With the weekly content and catch up and clinic and Q&A. Yes, and that was such a good idea, Jim White. I'm writing that down. Sponsored by Superboc, the consultation on the beach of Portugal. Great idea. Glad that came up this morning. So last few comments then. And just managed. Andy Gilchrist managed to join this morning. Just, what have I missed? Oh, I don't know where to begin. You should watch this again. You really should, Andy. Thank you so much for sharing your artistic sensitiveness with us. From Joao F to you, Terence. And Bob, glad I caught at least a bit of this so we can watch the replay. I would recommend it. Bob and Viv, do watch Terence in action. It was so wonderful. I can't do it yet. Okay. Thank you. But we'll talk to you about that tomorrow, Jim. Thank you, Terence and Gary from Sai. And it's only impossible until it's done, said Nelson Mandela, and Anita sharing that with us in Lisbon. And I saw another new name. Thank you, Shelley, for popping in this morning. Sorry if I missed some of your comments. It was so engaging, though, what was going on the screen, wasn't it? But we did have another. Oh, John. No, Jan. The Large Palette is so good. Very inspiring program. Thank you, Jan. Thank you for tuning in this morning. I love it to see a new name on the screen. Shelley, it was so lovely to see you checking in this morning. Farewell, lovelies from Michelle. And everyone, have a great day. So you know what that means. Time to whistle. And we'll see you tomorrow. And maybe, of course, see you at the Silver Coast meetup. If you want to join the WhatsApp group, I'll see if I can find that link and bung it on the screen for you. Or put it in the comments. That'll be more useful in the comments, won't it? So see those of you who are making your way to San Martino de Porto today at the meetup. And if not, I will see you in the morning. Have a great day, everybody. That was so lovely, wasn't it? Well done, everybody. Cheers, Terence. Cheers, Garbo.